Hey everybody, it's Mitch and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another episode of our Devil Conquest. And as you know, these include my friends from my D&D game. So, alright, so as you know, we have Dallin again.
Hello.
We also still have Ryan again.
Hello, I'm still Ryan.
And we have Kevin again.
Hello.
But we also have another Kevin. So you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm also Kevin.
Yes, we have two Kevins. Sometimes I refer to them as Kevin 1 and Kevin 2, just to keep things clear. Um, yeah, so, do you want to introduce your character, Kevin?
Sure. I played Lei Shun with the cohort Wei Shun, two reclusive ninjas from a hidden village who have trained to battle the demonic nemesis, or devils? Devils, right?
Yep.
It's been a while. The devil menace of our lands. We had Lei, the main character, who was a ninja in name, though once you get to classes, things obviously get a little more convoluted. The full class list I have here is 7 levels of ninja, followed by 2 levels of fighter, 2 levels of human paragon. We've got 5 levels of master thrower, a level of cloistered cleric, 2 levels of rogue, and 2 levels of warblade, followed with 2 levels of chameleon. 3.5 is a hell of a system.
Yeah, that it is.
In short, it's a character who's built to operate very well from stealth while throwing objects at a very high rate of speed and avoiding detection at all costs. And he accomplished this with the help of his cohort, Wei, who was a ninja in name as well, built a very different class list, taking Wujen, Human Paragon, Unseen Seer, Devil Wrecker, Incantrix, Lore Master. In order to provide Lei with all the magic support he needs to battle devils with his mundane class list. All kinds of contingent spells, enchanted fire shuriken, invisibility, whatever the super fight would call for. She was like his magic toolbox.
Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, she wasn't that great in combat herself, but she made Lei so much better.
Yeah, all about buffing the carry. Their main strategy was her regularly casting meta magic and all sorts of enhanced fire shuriken spell, and then just giving the shuriken to him, who would then use his master thrower skills to just launch dozens of these meta magic high level shuriken at anything that moved.
Yeah, those were nasty.
Very hard to resist, very easy to hit.
Yeah,
Damage.
yeah, they were nasty.
For a while, it was particularly nasty because, as you may know from the previous video, Ryan provided a pretty large buff to all of his allies in damage, which was Sonic, I believe, normally. However, due to Fire Shuriken's wording, it converts any extra damage to the same type of a shuriken, so everything got converted to the shuriken's nearly unresistible damage amount. So it was just all pure shuriken damage.
Yeah, that was really nasty. And Sonic's pretty hard to resist too, but I mean, if you're trying, it's not so bad, but very few things resist it naturally, so.
That is true. Even fewer things resist an ice spell modified with the piercing cold meta magic, though.
That is true. Plus, Sonic has the big weakness of silence. anything in silence is just immune to sonic damage. It just doesn't work in silence. Who would have guessed that sound damage doesn't work when you can't have sound? Anyway, so where we last left off this video, I believe we had taken down the Lord of the First and had we had just taken down our first devil, our first major devil, right?
Yep.
Yes, and I believe it was shortly after that that we ran into Wei and Lei. So, if I recall, we were fighting the party was fighting a number of devils. Fighting what was it, a gargantuan or whatever it's called? I am probably absolutely slaughtering the pronunciation of that thing. But we were fighting, I'm pretty sure there was one of those, and a couple of the other ones from the Book of Vile Darkness. There's exactly 2 devils in that book. I believe we were fighting both of those, as well as like a few pit fiends or something. And
the fight that I was introduced in?
Yes.
Yes. Started out with the party coming across Lei and Wei, who had already been discovered and surrounded, which is not how Lei and Wei like to start their fights.
That is very true. That is very, very true. Probably
in the first round, Wei had already been grappled and swallowed by a creature. Thankfully, Lei was able to use his ninja powers to disappear before anything connected with him.
Yeah. Anybody else remember much from that fight? It's been a while for me. I remember that much.
Well, thankfully,
Wei died, but she got better.
Yeah, we got better.
That happens a lot in our game.
Thankfully, the heroes swept in to clear out the devils before they could cause Lei and Wei too much death. And we were fast friends.
Yeah. It's easy to make friends with someone who just saved your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially you had the same goal of stopping the devils. Like, that's kind of been, the party's common goal. Oh, yeah, you don't like these devils that are enslaving the entire country? Yeah, me neither. Let's do something about that. That's basically been the whole party. And a nice common interest that's pretty easy to get people to rally behind. Yeah, those devils make for a great common enemy. Anyway, so yeah, you guys managed to escape that fight relatively unscathed. I know Wei got eaten and apparently killed, but she came back because we got 2 crazy good healers in the party.
Yes, that's right. There was a running gag throughout the campaign. Wei and Lei believed that Kevin One's character was the powerful, mighty healer because I think he was the one who cast the Revivify or whatever it was we ended up going with to bring Wei back. So everyone they both kind of assumed that his character was the healer and not Dallin's.
Yes, despite the fact that Garrett was the better healer, although Sylvester definitely had more in his arsenal than healing, whereas Garrett not so much.
True.
But Garrett is definitely the superior healer since he's put a large number of resources into maximizing his healing potential. Yeah. So yes, that was a running gag. I don't believe Tyrael was in that fight. I'm pretty sure he was still off
No.
doing his thing. I think it was pretty quick after this that you guys ran into. You went south to the seaside city, to the far south, and ran into pirates, if I recall. Pretty
And
sure
that would have been within a session or two easily, yeah.
Yeah, that was that was definitely one of the first. That was, I think, the first time I did when I took things from outside of D&D and made them into D&D with the Blackbeard fight, where I tried my best to take the Blackbeard pirates from One Piece and turn them into characters for D&D for my party to fight. That was kind of a fun fight, if I recall.
Oh boy, I hope we don't encounter any characters from other media along the way.
that happens a few times.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Blackbeard fight, let's see. You guys had what? I'm trying to remember the key players. Blackbeard himself, which I didn't do the best job of creating. I think I used Dread Pirate, which isn't the best prestige class. So he turned out to be not nearly as threatening as he should have been. Let's see. I used my big guy with knockback build for one of the guys. That turned out to be pretty devastating. I also did an interesting little build with a guy who just got revived, over and over, but slightly weaker every time. Every time he died. Went with that for one of the guys, and don't remember the rest of them too well. Do you guys remember any of those guys better?
Not particularly. I think there might have been some sort of monk-like character, but
That sounds familiar.
I think we generally swept most of them up pretty quick. So we didn't really get to see what all of them did.
Yeah.
Didn't they all wield different weapons and use different weapon styles?
Probably, yeah. I know the big guy. He proved interesting. If I'm not mistaken, this was the fight where they sent Grizz back flying 100. Grizz and his elephant back 100 feet.
Yeah, I think that was this one.
Yeah, he just smacked Grizz. This colossal guy, he just smacked Grizz and sent him back flying like 110 feet. Then you guys had a hard time with the guy that kept coming back every time that he died. Because he kept coming back every time that he died. It's like, I just killed him. Why is he alive?
I just remember we cleared about 2/3 of them, and Lay started trying to, negotiate, right, surrender terms, because they were clearly losing. There was no need for necessary life loss. They weren't devils, so he had no grudge against them. But, diplomacy didn't go quite as planned.
Yeah, they were. They still thought they could win, and they were pretty determined to beat you guys. So yeah, they did not surrender. And then I remember one of the more interesting things. This is definitely the funniest part of the fight. Is the fight was wrapping up. There was only a couple of guys left. I think the guy who kept reviving was still around, although you guys were slowly pushing him off the raft because it was difficult to move him, but at the same time you were slowly pulling it off. And then a few of you guys just decided to start screwing around for no reason.
Not no reason. We were showing off.
Yeah, you guys they're like, oh, the fight's almost over. Let's show off. And
Well, the more athletic characters were making balancing rolls and doing tightrope walk type stuff, having some fun. There was only one, potential threat left, and he was pretty well handled by the rest of the group. So we were just, doing whatever.
yeah, the big guy was one of the last to go too. Although I think you hit him with like, what was it, charm person or something? You hit him with something like that in order to make him.
I think Psionic dominates on
That might have been it. Yeah. Wait, psionic? I don't think any. Did we have any psionics in our party at that point?
Toast had it as a psi-like ability from the Phrenic template.
Okay, because I was like, I don't recall any psionic characters at that point in the game, but got it. Yeah, so you hit him with that, and he just like, for a while was just like, okay, I'll just listen to you guys. So you managed to tame the big guy for a little bit. He was starting to pull the raft the way you told him to. Then right around that time when I think it was Lay, he had screwed up a balance check and was gonna
acrobatics. I think he was doing a backflip on the. No, he got the acrobatics. He did the backflip. He just didn't stick the landing on the rope. So to save face, Lay used his translocation anklet, teleport back up, so he guess they had a chance at catching the rope. However, when it comes to ninjas, preparation is the name of the game. We had all kinds of contingencies, aura spells, and permanent buffs to prepare for surprise attacks and similar. One of which included the great spell Contingent Teleport Greater, which delays any teleport actions within the area. So Lay would have to sit for 3 rounds in the void before he had a chance at re-entering reality and landing. But nothing important has ever happened in 3 rounds, so...
Yeah, so a running joke that happened because of that, while Lay was stuck in the void for 3 rounds, like right as soon as this happened, a giant colossal kraken came out from the sea and attacked the raft as well as the party. Yeah. Lay claims there was no kraken because, yeah.
No evidence. Exactly there.
Except for the body of the kraken that he saw. But
We swiftly dealt with the evidence.
yeah, one of the things about that too was we were doing this all in one session and it was getting late. And they're like, okay, finally it's wrapping up. We can go home. And it's like a colossal crowd. They're like, no. Yeah, that was fun. But you did take care of him pretty quick. And I think Wade just kind of sat there and watched, didn't she?
Yeah. I think she was waiting for Lay to get back, and she doesn't really have much in the way of fight a kraken spells, so I don't think a magic missile was going to deter a kraken, so she was just watching.
Yeah. So they had, so the whole party, they like fight this kraken, like Lay is off in oblivion for a couple rounds. Some of the other party members, they're way off in they're way off in the background. We had a few new people as well at this point. I think we had an archer who was in the group. I forget what was her name. What was Gabby's character? I can't remember.
Nera?
No, that was Taylor's character. I can't remember her character's name, but anyways, she fought, and so she was way off in oblivion. There were like so many people, like half the party was like nowhere near the Kraken when it spawned, so they had to like run to it in order to help out. Because they were just kind of watching the Lay do his tightrope show. Um, yeah, I think the archer. Oh yeah, the archer was she was competing with Lay on that. They were like showing off their tightrope skills, and yeah, I remember that. And they did end up taking down the Kraken. I think it took about the full 3 rounds. I think the Kraken went down right about the time Lay showed back up. I think he came back just in time to not see the Kraken. And yeah, that was an interesting fight. The guy who just kept coming back, I think they just pushed him into the ocean and just slowly waited for him to drown over and over again. So that kind of sucked for that guy. That was a really crappy way to go. I'm not even sure if they killed the big guy. Oh no, you did kill the big guy eventually. So yeah, that was definitely an interesting fight. And that was after you took out the devils that were in the town. Like, you took out the devils, and as soon as the devils go away, the pirates show up and were like, we're here to fight. They were just kind of sitting offshore, watching and waiting for their opportunity. So, yeah, that was that fight. I think the next major fight after that was actually the fight against what's his name? The Lord of Lies.
Mammon?
Yeah, Mammon. I believe that was your guys' next major fight after that, right?
Yeah, that sounds correct. It was a difficult one, for sure.
Yeah. You guys remember much about that one?
That wasn't the Beholder one, was it?
It was the Beholder one.
That was the Beholder one. That was quite a fight.
Yeah. So they show up in town expecting this fight and nothing. Somebody tells them that, hey, they're up at this location. So they walk into this room, and as soon as they all get there, the floor just collapses on them. It just goes poof, and then closes back up after they've all fallen through the hole. And I'm not sure if it did close up after. That might have been the other one. But the floor just opens up. They all fall, take a bunch of fall damage, at least the ones who didn't have fly, a natural fly speed, which again was Sylvester, because he had his bat, which was able to fly even in an anti-magic field, because as soon as the floors opened up, the Beholders had their anti-magic fields on, and everybody took a bunch of fall damage. And they just ended up starting in a fight with a bunch of starting with a bunch of fall damage and in an anti-magic field that they had to contend with. That was fun.
Yeah, it turns out we're not very good at dealing with anti-magic fields.
Yeah,
We weren't without options.
that is true.
Let's see, how did we handle it? Because if I remember correctly, there was devils in the back, then Beholders, and then the dragons, and then us.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of dragons between you and them.
I think I remember you were having them briefly take down the anti-magic fields so that the dragons could use their breath weapons.
I don't recall them doing that, but at the start, yeah, because they had a bunch of ready actions that they did to start the fight. As soon as you fell, I think they did briefly take it down so that the dragons could breathe all their breath weapons, and then they reactivated the anti-magic field.
So I think what we ended up doing was we used one of those intervals to use readied actions to cast Wall of Stone or something like that and break the line of effects.
I don't think that's it.
We definitely considered it. I don't know that we actually ended up going through with that plan in the end.
Yeah, I think it was more Sylvester was on the bat and was able to fly outside of the anti-magic field and was able to hit the beholders with stuff from behind.
Including polymorphing one of them into a squirrel.
Yes, yes. That got undone. Like another one of the pit fiends used his once per year wish to undo that after a little bit, but
Laneway ended up using mundane smoke bombs to create a screen between the dragons and the group to give us some cover from range attacks. Because thankfully we had some non-magical tools in our toolkits. And then I think Lei started using Aijutsu-focused throwing knives to do damage, which was not nearly as good as the normal damage, but at least was, something in the anti-magic field.
yeah, and you had Grizz then, so he was able to do his Frenzied Berserker stuff. At least some of it. I think, I'm pretty sure at least some of that stuff was able to be done in an anti-magic field. I don't think his Bear Warrior stuff worked, but I'm pretty sure the rest of his stuff was extraordinary and was able to be used. And we had our Archer doing her thing. So we had a few people doing that were capable of doing some stuff. Yeah, there were some people doing things. We also what was I'm trying, never mind. But yeah, you guys managed to take him down. It was a bit of a trick, like I said, when they brought that one beholder back, he happened to, he positioned him. He had run way to the back, so when they came back, he was actually positioned to put most of you guys back in an anti-magic field, like by surprise. So you guys were like, "Crap, we're in an anti-magic field again. What do we do?" You managed to deal with it fairly quick, but it tripped you up for a second.
Definitely forced us to rethink our plans.
Yeah.
Approach about from an unusual angle. It's always good.
Yeah. You guys struggled a lot with that one, if I recall.
Yeah, we were a very buff-dependent party, and having all those removed definitely reduced our effectiveness on a party-wide level.
Yeah. But you guys came through in the end. And I forgot this, but I'm pretty sure you guys fought some dragons between those two fights now that I think about it.
Did we go to a small encounter with some dragons, yeah.
Yeah, you ran...
I don't recall the details of it.
Yeah, they were actually small encounter with some dragons. I'm pretty sure one of them was a great worm.
Couldn't have been that great.
Yeah, that was what, the black dragons, if I recall? I think
they were definitely lawful evil.
Yeah, I think it was the black dragons that you guys fought at that point. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the black dragons. Then from there, you guys moved closer to the city, had some small encounters. Nothing too crazy or memorable. Then you fought some. I think the next fight that you had. Wow, we're cooking through this, aren't we? Yeah, we were really cooking through this because the next memorable encounter was the final encounter for the semester.
Yes, it was the final one, but it wasn't one session.
Yeah. Was it in that session that only you and Ryan showed up? Or
It
was it?
was one. I think that was the fight where we were there for one of them. But that was what, 4 or 5 weeks of games?
And they were not short games either. Most of those this semester we were staying up till like what? It was pretty normal for us to stay up till like 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning that
Yep.
semester. Like we were we were really pushing it. We stopped doing that because I don't think anyone enjoyed staying up that late. But um, so most of us on this call tolerated it pretty well, but no one actually liked it. So we stopped doing that because all the people that weren't on the call really hated staying up that late, and yeah. So, but yeah, those were super, super late games, just back to back to back, because we were trying to get it done before the semester ended, which we pulled off, but not easily. Um, yeah, those were absolutely insane. Um, I know we had a couple other people in the group. We had Matt playing Venati, the what was it? The rogue wizard, the rogue sorcerer, I think. What was it? Arcane trickster, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, he didn't stick around too long, but he had that character, and then we had the other Matt. What was he playing? I remember his cohort Shaggy. Uh, I can't even remember Matt's character anymore. Can you guys?
It's a paladin, right?
As a paladin riding
Oh, that's right, he
a
was.
dragon.
He was the Ubercharger.
Oh, yes, Draco. Now I remember. Yeah, Draco, the Paladin Ubercharger. Yes, yes, he was something. Uh, oh, we had some interesting encounters with him, like when he became a Dragonborn.
Oh yeah,
That
That
happened.
that was a thing.
Yeah, he became a Dragonborn, but
No questions asked.
There may have been some abuse of power along the way.
yeah, that the dragon that helped him out may have taken advantage of him. Yeah, that happened. So, I mean, it worked. He got to be a Dragonborn,
That's
and
true.
he was actually really helpful in a lot of those fights because the anti-magic field. I don't remember if he was in the anti-magic field part. I think he was. Maybe. I remember Matt and Matt joined on the same day, which was crazy. Because I think it was partway through the semester, and they just both happened to join on the exact same day.
I
So,
don't believe Draco was there for the first anti-magic field fight.
gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, we had that happen. And I think, we're forgetting a big event, a really big event. After that last fight that we just talked about, I believe that was the one, or was it the one before? I can't remember if it was the anti-magic one or if it was the pirate one, where Grizz died.
I believe that was the anti-magic fight.
The anti-magic? Yeah, Grizz died. He was taken out in such a crazy way. Like, in that anti-magic fight, Grizz was just a tank. I think he was up to, what was his health by the end? Was it like negative 400 or something like that?
It was something like that.
I think he had like negative 400 HP because frenzied berserkers don't die from excessive damage. And the enemy decided to hit him with calm emotions. And he failed to save, dropped out of frenzy, and just died. And then he decided not to come back. So we had a nice funeral for Grizz. Yeah. especially seeing as shortly before that, there was when we were going to go fight the pirates. We had decided to do some scrying to figure out how to try and be able to teleport there, get a little get a little bit of lay of the land, and yeah, Garrett did that in a kind of a crazy way. If I recall, you used an entire lake that he was. Grizz was just kind of relaxing at the lake, just trying to clear his head, trying to, keep himself calm and sane. And Garrett decided to use scrying using the lake as his medium and made it so that the lake started reflecting an image of the town and all the horrors that were happening there. And the sounds were coming up from under the lake. So he's just swimming through this peaceful lake. All of a sudden he hears devils and people screaming from torture. And yeah, that wasn't a fun time for him. He was not thrilled about that one. So that, among other things, is why he decided not to come back. And we had a nice funeral for him after.
We did.
Yeah, we really went all out on Grizz's funeral. Yeah, Grizz was always a fun one too. Like after fights, it's like, well, we managed to take out the fight. Now we just got to take out Grizz. But yeah, so Grizz's funeral. That was, I believe Garrett said some words. I believe Marmalade had a little speech. I remember Sylvester had helped with like the decorations and stuff. Tos'T was helping build some stuff for that as well. Like the whole party really pulled together.
Yeah. Let me see if I have on my character sheet. I actually have written
Awesome.
the words
Yes.
of the little song that was made for Grizz and his funeral.
Yes, I remember that. That'd be awesome if you could read that.
Yeah, I'll read it now. It goes, in the dark of the wood, there is a man, the trees surrounding, removed by the roots, a rage induced by suffering of death, his wife and daughter tortured in front of his eyes, and he cannot recall his act of destruction. He fought fierce against many devils in a bloody frenzy. His rage was never matched, and there is an unfortunate day, floating in the water. The image of death appears, submerged in suffering, drives him further into insanity. His death greets him, he comes into its embrace.
Yes.
And that's it.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, you wrote that yourself, if I recall, just using stuff from the game as well as some of the stuff he threw in his backstory.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, so Garrett read that at the funeral. I think Marmalade said some rambly words.
Sylvester used Major Image to project highlights of Grizz's great victories in battle.
Yes, that worked out this time.
Did you also, like, conjure some shambling mounds or something to guard the tomb?
Yeah, I did that as well.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think also you cast something on them to make them also act as decorations. If I recall, you made some plants grow on them so that the shambling mounds were guardians, but also decorations.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Kind of interesting that you have a guardian / decoration. Yeah.
Need to be ready for all contingencies.
Yeah, you never know. And Sylvester's very good about being ready for all contingencies. Holy crap. Way and Lay were pretty good about that too, although not so much all contingencies, more so just the unexpected ones. Yeah, and regular dealings of damage. They're mostly just ready to be jumped. But they were pretty well prepared. Yeah, Marmalade and Toast. I think Toast, he had, what was it? He had a magic item that he used.
Layer of building?
Yeah, he used that in order to, like, build a mausoleum and stuff for it, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also hallowed the place afterwards, right?
Yeah, I think Garrett did that one.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you guys went all out for Grizz's funeral. That was a major event of the campaign. Then from there, I think I think it just kind of went more or less right to the big final fight, like we were talking about. That one started out interesting. That one you were fighting. Initially, you were fighting Belial and Fiera. You went to their courtyard where they had summoned you, and they had their host of devils with them. Belial was he wasn't there. You just saw Fiera there with her devils. She was trying to. I believe she tried to get you to surrender, didn't she? She was there with all her human slaves and her hordes of devils. She with all her slaves with whip marks on them, and yeah, it was quite the scene. You could tell that she was a true sadist.
Yeah.
If I recall, Marmalade did agree to surrender. Or at least he said he agreed to surrender.
That's right. He agreed quite easily and offered a large gemstone as proof of his obeisance.
She didn't particularly trust it. She thought he might be up to something. And apparently the gemstone was actually a real offering, although it was a fake offering to just get close. And he did have some tricks up his sleeve. It just that wasn't it. That was just a means of getting close.
It was a completely non-magical gemstone. It just, psychological games.
Yeah. I forget what Marmalade tried. I don't recall it working though. I don't recall Marmalade's plan working exactly.
Oh, you assume he had a plan?
Oh, apparently he didn't have a plan. No wonder it didn't work.
He did manage to get closer. So that was one beneficial effect.
That is true.
And just like start the battle in the middle of everything instead of the distance.
That is.
But the main point of it was to establish a precedent of like doing things that aren't what they seem to be.
I see.
Like the gemstone is an obvious like setup for Trap the Soul, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Interesting.
And so it's just pure like.
All right.
You don't know what I'm going to do. That's all it was basically.
I see. So, yeah, as soon as the fight started, Belial walks in, Fiera's father. Him and his army of devils just kind of cross, because there's this, like, flame gate. There's, like, these walls of fire that kind of trapped the party, and they were just kind of while the whole scene was taking place, they had kind of just taken position outside of the wall of fire, and they just sort of walked in all at once with some readied actions, and then the fight started. And you guys dealt with that for a couple rounds till the next big part of the trap went off. And the floor opened up on you again. And this time there was no anti-magic field, but everybody who didn't have a fly... Actually, wait, there was an anti-magic field, I think, wasn't there? But only for a second. Yeah. So, yeah, at least not initially, though. So the floor opened up again, and everybody who didn't have a fly speed fell and landed on some magical cushions down below. Then an anti-magic field went off, and that made everybody who had a fly speed, who had a magical fly speed fall, but they didn't get to land on cushions because the cushions were suppressed as well, so they took fall damage. And then the floor sealed back, then the anti-magic field went away, and the floor sealed back up. So everybody who didn't fall was trapped up top, while everybody who did fall was down at the bottom. Where, what was it? Which devil was it down there again? It was the slug guy. I'm trying to remember what his name was.
Beelzebub?
Yeah, Beelzebub. Yes, Beelzebub. Him and his armies were down below. So the party was forced to split into two parties for that fight.
That was the fight where you had all of the enemies that a bunch of the players had built for you. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. I think one of you guys had the throwing master. I think that was Ryan, I believe, who made those.
Yep.
Which is ironic because apparently Lay has that class. So very interesting that it was Ryan that came up with that build.
Well, I used Bloodstorm Blade.
Yeah, that was the Marshal. That was the Bloodstorm Blade for battle.
Gotcha. All right, so yeah, you had those guys. There were a few other builds that you had. Most of the builds were down below. The fight up top was mostly just Belial, Fiera, and some Pit Fiends, I think.
I think I built Hobgoblin Samurai Chargers.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, and Tyrael was in that fight too. So you had met Tyrael, and I don't think Lay liked Tyrael very much.
Tyrael didn't like Lay.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of both. But yeah, there's some friction between those two. But yeah, Tyrael was in that fight, if I recall. Yeah, that was an interesting fight. First time the party had been forced to fight in two different groups that they didn't exactly choose. It was those who had fly speeds and those who didn't. Well, those who had non-magical fly speeds and those who didn't. So, like Sylvester and Seraphonite were up in the top battle with Tyrael and I think Draco might have been. I think Draco was up there.
Draco would have been on top, I think.
Draco was there.
Yeah, and then everybody else was down in the lower battle, which was the harder fight. Now, you guys didn't have to deal with the anti-magic field anymore. That was just for the initial go of it, where you took a bunch of fall damage and got separated from the party. But yeah, you guys actually haven't fought any of the Lords of Hell since this fight. You're getting close. You're working on it right now, but you have not fought any of them since.
Yeah, that fight was long.
Oh,
Was that 4 sessions?
it could have been. It was like 4 or 6, something like that. It was.
Because one of them we didn't end up playing, so it was just Ryan and I who came.
Yeah,
We ended up
so
playing just card games and I think that Magic the Gathering game.
did we play Magic? I don't remember.
It was the like it wasn't the actual card game. It was the
Oh yeah, we played the Battlegrounds a bit.
Battlegrounds. Yeah.
And I think a little Smash Brothers, but and mostly Super Fight.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
played a lot of Super Fight.
Yeah.
I loved that. Well, we did end up playing Super Fight a lot more after that, but yeah, that was just me, Ryan, and Kevin for this one, because I'd never heard of the game. Everyone else was gone. Kevin had something. Dallin was out. Everyone was out. It's like, okay, we're in the middle of a major fight right now. I think it was like at the start too, and it's like, we really need everyone here. So, yeah, we ended up deciding not to. I think Kevin was like, I think we can handle this with just us.
Yeah, I was like, let's do it. Let's roll. I've got contingencies. I've got stuff I can burn. Let's go all out. Let's kill everything.
But Ryan was
I was talked out of it.
Yeah, Ryan was like, nah, and I'm like, all right, yeah. If Ryan doesn't want to, okay. If Ryan had been like, yeah, let's do this, it's like, all right, 2 people, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, we would have died.
I don't feel strongly about that. I think we had a pretty good... We had at least a 50-50 chance of being fine. I was willing to roll the dice on that one. Because let's see, the first session, I think, was about 8 hours of that fight. And we made it through 2 full rounds of combat.
Something like that, yeah. It's like 3 hours later, hey, we finished a round of combat. Or maybe it was 4 for the first one, and then they got shorter as
The initiative list was so long. And yeah, as we slowly whittled through the numbers, things got faster and faster, but that took a while.
Yeah, that's something that's still an issue with the group. Sometimes that initiative list just gets crazy for a little bit. And it's like, well, we got a 2-hour combat round again. That happens sometimes where we're currently at. But to prevent things from going too late, we've taken up a new policy of if it's after 11 o'clock, we'll vote on whether to continue going or to call it at the end of every round of initiative. And whatever wins. A lot of the time it's call it. But sometimes people will go for an extra round or 2, depending on how things are going. So I think that's been working pretty good. It's in keeping the game from going too crazy late.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then I hadn't thought of that idea yet, so we're just like, we're gonna keep going. It's not 3 a.m. yet. We can do another round. Yeah. We were also trying to push to get through this before the end of the semester, because summer was coming. We were probably going to lose a lot of players, and we did. A lot of people didn't come back the next semester, so yeah. We were just about to take our summer break, so.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, things went pretty well on the top side. I think Sylvester basically just summoned just piles of monsters to make up for the lack of people up there and just swamped down everything with Draco and
Material.
Yeah. Doing some damage.
Yeah. Sylvester's pretty good about handling things. He has only really he's only really been in any danger once in the entire campaign. There, and that was before you joined. That was the first semester when he got hit by some high-powered winds and knocked off his bat. He ended up being fine, but had the party not dealt with the rest of the enemies when they did, he would have been in some trouble. But, yeah, other than that, he hasn't been in any real danger. Which is crazy. The fact that Sylvester has managed to never actually be in trouble for the entire campaign, other than that one time. Because no one else can say that. Everyone's had their close calls here and there. Way less so than others, but...
I think that that big finale fight was the first time Lei knocked out his finisher move. We used on his contingent body outside bodies. And we had 4 Leis all doing Lei damage at the same time.
Well, near... Oh, yeah, they were. It was close to Lei, because he had to spend an action, like, passing his body, his clones, the shuriken. Because they don't get to take any of those with them. But they don't get any sort of version of them, because they do get non-magical mundane versions of everything, but I don't think there is a mundane version of those shurikens. Those things are pure magic.
No, those are pure magic.
So
they all had masterwork daggers that could be used for Aijutsu focus throwing, but for the most part, yeah, it was just pass off shuriken, and since they all had all the same class features, they could all turn invisible, through their own means. So they all just kind of poof off on their own and start doing the Lei thing individually.
Yeah, and Lei had a few contingencies on that. Even if someone could see invisibility, you had what? Contingent invisible solid fog?
Not solid fog, it was just obscuring mist.
Oh yeah, obscuring mist.
No magic invisible, obscuring mist. That was the first line defense against being revealed.
Yeah, so if anybody saw you, then obscuring mist would show up, and it'd be an invisible obscuring mist, so that only people who could see invisibility could see it, and then wouldn't be able to see you. It was an interesting little play you had there.
Yeah. I think after that we had a non-invisible obscuring mist to trigger if something like herd invisibility or glitter dust hit us, and then we could just use things like the blindfolded true seeing to operate in actual fog clouds to get around that.
Yeah, glitter dust is a pretty nasty one. There's really no save against the main point of that spell. I mean, there's a save, but that's for the blindness, and who uses glitter dust to blind? Like, the blindness is just sort of a bonus. It's like, okay, yeah, you also blinds, cool. Like, that spell's all about revealing invisibility. And you can't save that part. Like, you just get hit with that. Yeah. Although, I think it is possible to resist if you happen to have metal, I believe. I think metal would resist that.
Yeah, metal would.
But that's like the only way to avoid that one. Yeah. But, yeah, you guys did manage to take out that fight. If I recall, you dealt with Beelzebub real quick. Belial and Fiera took a little bit longer. Although you were dealing with... I think you dealt with the whole fight of Belial and Fiera quicker. But on the lower fight, you took out Beelzebub almost right away, but his army took forever, if I recall.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we killed him in like the first round of combat.
Yeah.
With a full volley of fire shuriken.
I think it was the second round, but the first round he wasn't able to. He wasn't able to do anything. He was too far away, so he was just kind of setting up for the first round or two. It was right before once he was done setting up and was right about ready to like really unleash on you. That's when you took him out. right before he was able to do anything. You guys have a way of doing that a lot, which makes sense. Normally, in order to make it so you can fully unleash on someone, you have to make yourself a little bit more vulnerable. So it kind of makes sense that that's the case. Yeah. Anybody else remember anything of note from that semester? Because I know we definitely ended the semester after defeating Belial, Fiera, and Beelzebub. I know that's how we ended things.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys didn't even get your treasure until like the next semester.
Oh yeah.
I remember there was a joke with Draco's cohort, Shaggy. He was Dread Necromancer? And he looked like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. They were doing the whole Ultra Instinct Shaggy memes for him. I remember that. That was kind of funny. I don't remember Shaggy doing anything of particular note, but his character was pretty cool.
Didn't he have a skeletal dog cohort?
I think he might have, yeah.
In Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, it wasn't a cohort, but yeah, he had like
An undead cohort?
yeah, he had some sort of some sort of
familiar, I think?
yeah, I think he had like a familiar or something. There was an undead dog. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. And I remember for Shaggy, he even did like a Shaggy voice. It was pretty cool. Like, he really committed to that.
He took the spookiness of Scooby and Shaggy to the next level.
Yeah, turned them into undead masters. Like, that was kind of cool. Anybody else remember anything from that semester? Of any note?
The Grizz player switched to a Scion for a while.
Oh, yeah. After Grizz died, Xavier, the player, yeah, he had it was a Scion character? I couldn't even remember what his second... Oh, yeah.
That's right. See, he had the ring, right?
Yes, oh, God. That ring.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a fun beach episode. Was that the one that ended with the mole people at the end? Or is that a later one?
I think
Oh,
Mole
gosh.
hinted at the end of the first one.
Yeah, that was a running gag. But yeah, we ended up having like freaking mole people show up at that beach episode.
Was this the one with the limbo contest and the drinking contest?
Might have been.
Sounds right.
The drinking contest, which I think bodied Garrett. I don't know. Garrett has a bad history with alcohol, I guess.
Oh, it had to have been because I remember Draco had a huge advantage because one of his paladin abilities made it so that I think his paladin ability that made him immune to poison made it so that it was a lot harder for him to get drunk. I made it so that he could get drunk, but that like it was way harder, and so he was drinking most people under the table because of that. Ah, yes, Draco was a drinking machine. That paladin could really drink you under the table.
And Sylvester won the limbo contest.
Well, being tiny has its advantages. Garrett was a runner-up for that too. I remember Garrett did pretty good at it.
Oh, he might have. It's just I'm used to like rolling low whenever Garrett does any drinking.
No, for the limbo contest.
Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah, yeah, he did do well in the limbo contest because he's extremely short.
Yeah, Garrett didn't have to make rolls for longer than anybody else. Sylvester was making rolls slightly before Garrett was. Half the people were out by the time Garrett was making rolls. It was only like Sylvester left in the contest and maybe like one or two other people. Because everyone's getting out because they can't go under. Meanwhile, Sylvester and Garrett are just walking under the bar because they're just so small. Like, they're not even limbo, and they're just walking right under. And people are dropping left and right. Garrett was definitely the odds-on favorite because he was the shortest, but Sylvester pulled off the win. Once Garrett started having to make rolls, he failed before Sylvester did. And yeah, that was interesting. There's oh man, that was an interesting episode right there. That beach episode. So much crazy stuff happened that episode.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's and we lost a lot of party members after that. Like Xavier and Gabby stopped showing up. Both Matt stopped showing up. So we lost a good chunk of the party after that. Ryan actually left for a while because he had to. He just left. That was a big hit. So we won't be seeing. So spoiler alert: no Ryan next video.
Sad times.
Yeah. In fact, I think this is probably Kevin and Ryan's first time talking to each other in quite some time, since this big fight.
We've talked a bit since then.
Alright.
Terraria.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
His castle that he built out of ice in my Terraria world still looks better than anything I've created. In like one night.
Wow. I have never played that game, but that's crazy. That's good that you've been keeping up, because this is the first time I've seen the two of you two together, and since then. Yeah, anybody else have anything they remember? We might have forgot.
Wasn't Tyrael just the worst?
I know Lay thought so. That beach episode, that was when that really happened.
Yeah, we had a standoff.
Yeah, the big standoff between Lay and Tyrael. I forget what led up to that, but...
It was the ring.
Oh, yes.
It was a big fight over the ring.
Oh, yes, that ring. Oh, that ring was so bad. I don't even know what happened to that. I think Lay and Wei probably still have it and just took it up into the sky with them. Yeah, there was the big fight over the ring, and Tyrael was trying to take it to just get rid of it because it was just horrible. And Wei and Lay were, they had other plans for it. They weren't bad plans or anything, but they didn't want Tyrael having it. So yeah, there was a big fight. Somehow there was, I think Grizz had gone frenzied at one point, and so someone put like a big sand dome around him in order to surrounded him by walls in order to keep him in, and then Tyrael was just standing on top of the walls, because I think Grizz had been dealt with by this point, and Wei and Lay were just standing in the middle or something.
believe Grizz was upset because Tyrael stole his ring.
Oh yeah, it wasn't Grizz. Grizz was dead, but yeah, it was
Yeah,
new
the
Grizz.
new character was upset because Tyrael stole his ring. Lion, we were not in favor of stealing him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was a big standoff. Tyrael had his bow drawn at way and lay. Like there was a big standoff there. Like they were very much on the verge of, I guess not technically PvP since Tyrael was an NPC, but still like pretty much PvP. Like player versus DMPC. So yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, that was a nice little standoff that happened there, all over that ring. Yeah, yeah, I remember.
Also,
Go ahead. What was that, Kevin?
also there was a lavish feast under the pavilion on the beach.
Feast. I'm not recalling that.
I remember there being good food.
Oh yeah, I remember a little now. Yeah, there was a nice feast there. That that was one of the most fun sessions we've had. Like we were just screwing around. Nothing was all that serious. Mole people showed up. People were freaking out over that for a while. Yeah, that was a crazy one. Yeah, and not going to go into the ring stuff too much because got to keep that safe for YouTube. So yeah, same reason why we didn't get into Draco going Dragonborn. Got to keep that safe for YouTube. Things got a little bit crazy that semester. Ah. Yeah, so I can't think of it much else. Can you guys? Is there anything else you guys remember that was a particular note?
I think that's it.
All right. You have something, Kevin?
I think that covers it.
All right. Ryan, Dallin, any of you guys remember anything?
Not especially.
Yeah, not at the moment that hasn't been mentioned anyways.
All right. Well, sweet. I think that covers everything then. I think this video is just a little bit longer than the last one. So yeah. Since that really covers everything, we will continue off with the next video. We'll continue off with the stuff in the next video, which will come out sometime later. So let's just do the outro then. So if you guys watching, if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. Maybe leave some comments down below. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so for more content like this. Maybe ring the bell to get that notification. You guys have anything you want to add with that?
Subscribe, smash that like button.
Leave a comment down below on who your favorite character was. It was Lay.
Leave a comment on why Garrett is your favorite character.
Yeah, Garrett #1 healer, 100%, right?
Sylvester will get one free notification for one of the comments chosen down below.
Vote for the Master Summoner and his ward.
Anything you want to add, Ryan?
No.
All right. Well, as like they say, like, comment, subscribe, maybe share the video. But as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.